There we go. That's a good one. Look at that. I mean, they're just butterballs. Gorgeous walleye. So we're back on Lake Sakakawea, and we get over here quite a bit. I mean, this is just such a fun fishery. It's a big body of water, big reservoir on the Missouri River, western North Dakota. But, you know, fisheries cycle. These reservoirs in particular probably cycle more so than most fisheries. But Lake Sakakawea for the last decade has just been by far one of the very best walleye fisheries here in the Midwest. I mean, it's just the good days, I would say, are as good as it gets. And we're on the Van Hook Arm here in particular, fishing out of Brendels Bay, and the amount of structure, the amount of fish. If you love to walleye fish, to me, this is just paradise. You know, it's mid-July on the Van Hook Arm. Oh, I just missed one. And you know, if there was one presentation that has caught more walleyes than anything out here, it'd definitely be just a bottom bouncer. And you see out here, I mean, it's kind of flat, not a lot of wind. We tried running spinners a little earlier, just wasn't catching much on spinners. Fish were a little off. And so it's kind of a deer, you get midday, flat conditions. You know, you go back to the plain hook, half crawler, slow death. You know, less is more sometimes when you get these flat conditions. And so just running a fairly heavy bottom bouncer, keeping it below the boat so you keep the boat on the structure. And that's kind of the program. When the fish are aggressive, you know, you can run spinner blades, you can run eye candy on the spinner blades, fish a little bit faster speeds, and the fish won't let you do that. Slow down, we're half a mile to maybe 0.8 miles an hour, and just a half crawler on a plain hook, maybe a bead, maybe a prop, but you're really scaling down the presentation, especially on these days where you don't get any wind.
Yeah, so fishing bottom bouncers out on this reservoir, there's no rocket science to it, but it seems like spring to fall, the whole year you can do it. You know, go speed up during the warm water days, and the colder the water, the slower you go. Simple it down, plain hooks. Start with minnows, work your way to leeches and crawlers, and then when the fall comes back, just back on the minnow train, and you can't go wrong with it. I mean, it's foolproof. It works here, it works in a lot of places, and if you want to fill your live well with good eater fish, it's the way to go.
There you go. You need a...
All it takes is just take a little bite of a sandwich or something, and then...
Yeah, you need a net on that one, I think.
Yeah, it feels a little decent.
That's a good one. Here.
Good head shakes.
On my way. Oh yeah, nice walleye.
Come up and take a look, girl.
There we go, nice. Wow, this is good fishing. You guys are so spoiled. This is good as it gets.
We're spoiled, but we appreciate it. We try to conserve and take care of the resource too.
This is special. You can't just take it for granted.
There's no slot limit on the lake, but I don't know any serious angler out here that keeps a fish over 21, 22 inches.
Yeah, there's plenty of eaters, no doubt.
Everybody does their own self-regulation on it. Yeah, they're nice and healthy fish though, aren't they?
They are.
Fishery's doing well.
Now, Lake Sakakawea is a massive reservoir on the Missouri River. It starts at the Garrison Dam and it backs up for, goodness, it must be 175 miles of reservoir, maybe more, don't quote me on that, but it's a big body of water. I've heard this many times where Lake Sakakawea has more shoreline than the state of California as far as the coast of California. And so there is so much water to fish, but one thing to note about Lake Sakakawea, it's very cyclic. We've seen situations where flooding, high water caused a lot of the bait fish, for example, to wash downstream. We've seen low water situations where the bait fish, notably the rainbow smelt, their populations decline because we didn't have the cool water habitat available. And so the tough years out here can be tough when you have low water. But when you have water, you've got some of the best fishing on the planet. And so it seems like every low cycle kind of rejuvenates this reservoir. And so fortunately, we've been on a 10-year high where realistically the last 10 years, I mean, it's good fishing. Now there was good fishing in the 80s, there was good fishing at different times throughout history. But what's different about today is that there are so many people that are catching big fish and they're releasing them. And so for me, I mean, I look at the number of fish over 28 inches in Lake Sakakawea. I mean, to me, the good old days are right now. I mean, we've had good fishing in the past, but in the past, you know, when people caught 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pound fish or bigger, they'd keep limits on them, they'd flay them. It's a lot different today where people are throwing back those big fish, they're selectively harvesting the smaller fish, typically less than 21, 22 inches or less. So to me, this fishery is just firing on all cylinders. It truly is one of the top walleye fisheries that you're gonna find anywhere. I'd put it up against anywhere. I mean, United States, Canada, when this fishery is on and you've got water, it is something special. Come on up. They are strong, man. Oh, it's just such healthy fish. Look at that. Just trying to get my rod tip out of the water. Just a nice, beautiful walleye. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Show her off here. All right. Oh, come here. Yeah. Look at that. Just a fatty, beautiful looking fish. You know, we're just island hopping. I mean, we're marking a lot of fish on these humps, but we're just kind of just bouncing around. There's so much structure out here. There's so many humps, things to fish. And typically, you know, you're going to see them on your electronics. And so we're graphing a lot of fish. Where we're graphing fish, we're stopping to fish. And
So I think the reason Van Hook Arm has a special place for most people is that just the sheer volume of fish. Any technique in the book can catch them. They're from 2 feet of water to 50 feet of water. It just depends on what you want to do. If you work hard, you use your electronics, you're going to find fish. And I think that's what people like. They want to go fishing. They want to catch something. This is a good place to do that.
here we go. Got him. This is a good one. Look at that. Strike. Isn't that cool? I'm just going to slow us down here a little bit. That fish just clubbed it. These bottom bouncers are fun. Come on up here. I promise I won't hurt you. Oh yeah, nice walleye. Here she comes. Boy, they're just such healthy. That's a beautiful walleye. I mean, it's one thing to catch fish, but when you catch fish where this is just an average quality size, they're strong, they hit hard, some of them. Yeah, that's just a great time. Oh yeah, look at that. Great fish. Bottom bouncers are a favorite of mine. I mean, some people think, oh, it's boring, you're just putting in the rod holder and dragging it, whatever, but I've been holding the rod, I've been using the bottom bouncer. You can use 2 rods in North Dakota, but some of these fish, I mean, they just jolt your wrist. You think, oh, is that a rock? And it starts to move. I mean, some of these strikes on a bottom bouncer are just so much fun. And then if they're not hitting the handheld rod, you look over and that rod tip is banging in the rod holder and that tip is in the water. Adds a little bit of excitement in the boat, no doubt. I promised I wouldn't hurt you. Oh, good living, good living. Now, some of these humps, they might come up in 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, whatever, but it seems like, a lot of the fish we're catching here right now are on the edges of the hump, the base of the hump, and say, maybe 17 to 28 feet of water. And some of these humps, they'll have little fingers and things coming off of them, but And we're just trying to keep the boat in that depth, and we're marking a lot of fish. I mean, that's probably the big thing. If you're marking fish, you know, just keep working them. Going over a fish right now. There's a good one, huh?
Yeah, it's got a little weight to it. Just nice fighting.
Oh yeah, coming up, I'll get the net here when you're ready.
Yeah, anytime.
All right. Nice. You know, we're still picking away at them. It's flat, calm. I mean, it's hardly a ripple of wind. Beautiful day out here.
Nice solid eater. Yeah, wind on the Van Hook arm is key to, you know, your best fishing. When the wind gets up, the fish just usually get more active as the wind goes. You always want to find certain things that make the spot you're fishing a little bit different. The wind blowing shorelines are always the best, but if you can find a point that has a little bit of the wind coming around the point and creating eddies on the backside, those fish will load up right on that, just teeing off on the bait fish that are up there eating.
I don't know. Oh yeah.
Need a net on that?
Yeah, maybe. Fun stuff. Oh, no, just a scrapper. There we go. Thank you, sir. Yeah. What a live well full of fish this would be. The guy we're out here keeping fish. Yeah, just perky. Still running the plain hook. Maybe something to point out I think is kind of interesting too is, you know, we've hit a couple humps and we mark fish, make a couple passes. They're not biting. Why these fish are biting and some of the other fish we marked aren't biting, who knows? But I guess probably the moral of the story is that, you know, don't be afraid to kind of move around. Just move around, try to make your own luck. And sooner or later, you're going to hit some type of a bite window where you're going to find some fish for whatever reason are eating, or we'll mark fish at 24 feet of water. For whatever reason, those fish aren't eating, slide up and find some in 17, 18, 19 feet of water. And those are the fish that are biting. And so it's kind of a deal where, you know, the bottom balancer program, it kind of enables you to cover ground and kind of look around and hunt for them a little bit. So.
Yeah, so one thing nice about fishing up in the Van Hook arm is you can catch fish pretty much any way you want. You can pull bottom bouncer spinners, bottom bouncers lindies, pitch and jigs, trolling deep cranks, fishing shallow cranks. The fish are everywhere, they're spread out, so sometimes it takes a few different techniques to catch them. The rainbow smelt population in here is really high right now, so the fish are fat. So sometimes they're not hungry, so it takes a little bit of work to get them, but they're definitely here, good numbers. I'd say hands down the best walleye fishery in North Dakota right now, for numbers, size, you name it.
So I'll show you a little trick that we were doing today. You know, we tried some different things, and ultimately you try different things until you run out of time. You try something until you find something that works. And this has caught a lot of fish over the years, and you know, slow death is so popular on these reservoirs, but one thing I do a lot is I just use just a plain Aberdeen with one single bend versus, you know, the slow death hooks that you can buy that have the two bends, a little bit heavier wire hook. What I find is just that single Aberdeen with one bend, it's a lighter hook, and so it causes the night crawler to really flutter. I don't want it to corkscrew so much as I want it to just wiggle, wobble. And so I've seen this many times over the years where when a lot of things aren't working and you're marking fish, you're just kind of pulling your hair out, you go back to that plain Aberdeen, put about a 30-degree bend in the shank of that hook, thread up the tail of the crawler up past the knot, and to me, that is, when you can't catch them on that, you throw in the towel. I mean, it's just a deadly trick on days where the fish are just off, they're not hitting baits, they just don't seem to want anything. You throw that half crawler on that number 4, number 6 Aberdeen hook and hang on. That's saved my tail many times as a fishing guide. Tell you what, some of the most special places in the world are places where you can go out and just catch all kinds of fish You don't have to be very smart. Okay, those are the kind of fish that I like, okay? And I always feel like the best programs, some of the most effective programs are very simplistic, where less is more so often with fishing. And you look at a reservoir like this, Lake Sakakawea, one of the best fisheries on the planet, bar none. And you know what, if there's a presentation that has caught more walleyes on this reservoir than probably anything, at least especially through the summer months, it would have to be a bottom bouncer. Reason being is that, I mean, it finds bottom, it's easy to fish, doesn't matter if you've caught a lot of fish, you've just starting out. A bottom bouncer is a very easy program that catches a lot of fish. This is something that anybody can come out and do. That's the thing to stress, is that anybody can come out and catch fish and enjoy this and have some level of success. And so I'm just panning around here and looking with the trolling motor, and basically I've got the active target motor right on the shaft, and I'm just turning the head of the trolling motor, see a school of fish and just aim and just try to pull your bottom bouncers right over the top of these fish. But it's impressive how many fish are on some of these spots. Oh, look at that. That strike just jolts your wrist. Pried up the bottom, and she don't like that. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Good head shakes.
Come on up here. Should be able to see it here pretty soon.
Need a net on that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, nice walleye. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, let's get this fish out of the net here and show her off. I know I've been talking about it all day, but I can't even just begin to describe just how hard these fish fight. They're just, to me, they're just so healthy. They're just chunky fish. Look at that. We're getting a little bit of ripple of wind. We've been kind of riding that out. I mean, it gets flat, we get a little puff of wind, but as long as we're marking fish, as long as we're grinding on them, you know, they just add up, you know, and then you're gonna get some windows where you're gonna catch a handful of fish in a short amount of time, but over the course of the day, I mean, the number of fish we've caught has been pretty impressive. Oh, and right back down to the bottom they go. They just zip down.
I think the thing I like about running bottom bouncers is the amount of water you can cover. You're not just pitching at one point, you're working both sides of the point, down the islands, up and down, different depths. Easy to switch from 15 foot to 30 foot, just going up and down, because the fish move so much out here. They may be here 1 second and then they're gone the next, and you got to move with them. So it makes it easier to cover the ground and stay with the fish.
Let me just show you here the basic bottom bouncer and spinner setup. So I'm using a casting rod, 7-foot. I like to use like a medium heavy fast action casting rod. The reason that I like to use that heavier rod is that there are some flooded trees in here. And I feel like, especially if it's in the rod holder, that the power, the action of that rod will allow you to pop your bottom bouncer and pop your bait out of the snags. Now obviously having a little bit backbone for bigger fish especially. So I like to use a line counter reel. This is a low profile line counter from Shields. It's got a flipping switch, so it's just basically a perfect bottom bouncer reel. And the big thing with the line counters is, you know, you can have somebody in the front of the boat, they can let out a certain amount of line, somebody in the back of the boat can let out more line. It's easier to keep multiple rods staggered, and it just makes it foolproof, especially if you have to bring beginning anglers or new anglers. Now, as a rule of thumb, 1 ounce of bottom bouncer for every 10 feet of water. So 10 feet of water, use an ounce bottom bouncer. 20 feet of water, use 2 ounce bottom bouncer. You can have some variation, obviously. Then a lot of times what we'll do is we'll do a heavier bottom bouncer in the front of the boat, maybe a little bit lighter bottom bouncer in the back of the boat. Again, just keep the rods staggered so you don't get tangled up. But boy, I don't think there's any presentation that catches more walleyes out here than a bottom bouncer. Either a bottom bouncer in plain harness, bottom bouncer in spinner rig, maybe a propeller rig, but some variation of a bottom bouncer rig just catches so many walleyes here on these Missouri River reservoirs. Whoa. Oh, golly. Golly. Look at that fish, how strong these fish are. Can't get over it, and I never get tired of it. You'll be able to see it here soon. There we go. Nice, huh? Good stuff. Get her onto the net here. Yeah, that's why people come to Lake Sakakawea, right there. I mean, you can just catch so many beautiful fish. I mean, catch eaters, catch big fish. It's a beautiful place. Definitely one of my most favorite walleye fisheries on the planet, bar none.